Wren runs and leaps in the same motion, drives her knee up into the man's jaw. A sharp crack. She puts real force behind it, and his body snaps backward, slams into the corrugated steel wall of the shed. The instant he rebounds, her right hand brings the dagger down hard across his skull. The pommel cracks against his temple. He drops like a sack. She stands at the back door of the warehouse, rolls her wrists, flexes her ankles. Then she kicks the rear door open. A loud bang. Every head inside turns. In the open floor of the warehouse, about 30 people sit on the ground, wrists and ankles bound tight with thick rope. She sweeps the room once. The 4 she came for are in the crowd. 4 men at a low table. They'd been playing cards. See her and snatch up iron pipes leaning against the wall. Their faces twist mean. They start toward her. Yesterday, each of these men put at least 1 life in the ground. Wren shrugs her pack off and lets it hit the floor. Oh, somebody's tired of breathing. The grin doesn't finish. The closest one swings a 4-foot iron bar straight at her head. She tilts. The bar whistles past her ear, scrapes her jacket, hits the floor. Her dagger flicks out toward the wrist holding it. These men have brute strength and nothing else. No training. No fight. The dagger tears through padded cotton sleeve. He flinches at the blade and the iron clangs free of his grip. Her right hand drives up. The pommel cracks into his throat. He folds, goes down clutching his neck, choking on his own air. Cute. Together. Now. The rest of them aren't smiling anymore. 2 of them swap iron for cleavers. Something cold and mean settles on their faces. Wren stoops and picks up the iron bar by her foot, about 4 feet long. Good weight. What are you standing there for? Move, the leader barks. The others fan out and box her in. The 2 guards from the front door hear the noise and come pounding in. They see only a girl. They settle in to watch the show. Just one weak girl. Even if she knows a little something, can grown men with iron bars really not handle her? The bound villagers won't look. Yesterday's massacre outside the mall is still too fresh. The blood is still on the snow. And this is just a young woman. A girl, really. But in the next second, the whole room freezes. 3 men close in around her, and she doesn't flinch. The bar in her hand is already aimed at the middle-aged one on the right. One look told her. He's already hurt. His movements are tight, favored. Weakest link. Break point. He sees her coming and swings wild. She catches it on her bar. The body she's wearing is still too soft. The shock judders up to her palms. She steps inside the swing. Her right foot snaps up. Drives between his legs. The fastest, ugliest strike there is. Every man in the room flinches with him. A gust hisses past the back of her neck. She tilts, locks onto the wrist of the man behind her, kicks up and brings the iron bar down hard. Another scream tears through the warehouse. The last man isn't scared off. He charges big, heavy build, like a maddened bull. Straight at her. She whips the dagger out of her hand. It thuds deep into his belly. He stops cold. Looks down. The look on his face is almost confused. Then he pitches forward into the floor. The 3 front door men back away. They're looking at her like she's something not human. In seconds, they're gone, bolting out into the blizzard. Wren doesn't chase. She walks over to the fat one, sets a boot, and pulls the dagger free. She turns to the bound villagers. Don't kill me. I have money. You can have all of it. The man babbles. Her work in the last 60 seconds has him terrified. But she just cuts his ropes. She picks a few people. The 3 Hale uncles are among them. She's wearing a face mask. They don't know her. The freed villagers scramble to cut the rest. Wren picks up her pack and slips out fast. Behind her, the others scrape supplies from the corner into handcarts. Villagers help villagers. They load up. The 3 Hale uncles load up too. Within minutes, the warehouse is stripped clean. Nobody wants to stay near this place. They push out into the whiteout and don't stop. On the way back, Wren runs and trains as she goes. Granny Hale must have already heard what happened at the mall. She's standing at the village gate. 3 small grandchildren tucked against her. When she sees Wren alone, her body sways once. But the 3 little ones are right there. She doesn't let herself fall. "Wren, child, you're back. Did you find your uncle?" Wren shakes her head. "Granny, I didn't see Uncle Holt at the mall." She doesn't tell her the truth. She killed a few men in that shed. If she tells Granny she found them, then when Holt and the rest come home, Granny is sharp. She might guess. Granny's whole body deflates. She gathers the children and turns back toward the house with Wren. The 3 little ones keep asking when their mom will be home. The cart, loaded heavy, doesn't get back to the village until late afternoon. The 3 Hale uncles trudge in behind it. Wren is sweeping snow from her courtyard when she hears Granny weeping next door. "You're home safe. That's all that matters. We've got enough in the house. You don't go out again, you hear?" This morning, standing at the gate with those 3 kids, she'd watched the villagers carry bodies in. She'd been terrified one of them was hers. The town run leaves a mark on Holt and the others, too. They don't go out for days after that. They climb the back slope instead, cutting wood. Time slides past. Soon it's the day of the supply allotment again. But no one in Hale Hollow is going into town anymore. Around noon, the sky over Hale Hollow goes loud. A rumble. An aircraft sealed doors crack open. The villagers who've been wintering inside step out, one by one. Wren watches a camo-painted aircraft bank low. A long rope unspools from the side. 2 dark figures drop out into open air. They hit the snow hard, roll, come up. Rifles already shouldered. The villagers don't go near. They watch from a distance. Both are in dark olive parkas, soft field caps pulled down. The aircraft above sees them safe and tilts off toward the next village. The 2 start walking through the drifts. The original village roads are gone, buried, and one of them pulls a bullhorn from his pack. "Don't be alarmed. We're military. We're here to distribute supplies. We know what happened at the mall in town. Those responsible have been taken care of. Is there a village head? We need to speak with him." The 2 stand and look at the few dozen houses scattered across the snow. The bullhorn call goes out 3 times. Nobody comes, so they start knocking, door to door. Wren eyes the rifles in their hands. She opens her gate and stands at the road. Granny and the Hales next door come out too. The doors they knock on creak open. Villagers stand on their thresholds and watch the 2 men nervously. Soon the village head is brought up, leaning on his son's arm. Once the villagers see him going, they all start drifting closer. "Officers, what brings you out here?" "I'm the head of Hale Hollow. What's the trouble?" He leads them back to his house. The villagers trail along to watch. These soldiers handle supply routes for the whole township. Today was supposed to be Monday's regular run, but when they got to the mall, they found bodies inside. The investigation turned up a wanted fugitive holed up in the small town. He wasn't working alone. He'd been pulling in every drifter and lowlife in the surrounding area. Before, a thing like this would have shaken the whole country. But the power's been out, the cell network is gone. No news travels. He's been taken care of. But the damage to the surrounding villages? That doesn't get undone. Starting now, you don't need to come into town for supplies. Every Monday, we'll airdrop supplies directly into the village. You just organize a crew to collect. The village head listens, pipe clenched between his teeth. Then a rotten egg flies in from the side and bursts on one of the soldiers. The stench hits in seconds. The crowd recoils. The 2 soldiers stand up slow, look down at the slime on their jackets, then look toward the back of the crowd. Another egg flies, and these men are trained. They sidestep it, and one of them catches the woman who threw it. Hair down in tangles. Face slack. Dark circles. Worn to the bone. The crowd opens around her like she carries plague. The village head taps his pipe out. "Aunt Walsh, what are you doing?" She screams once and lunges at the soldiers like she means to take them with her. "My husband? They killed my husband. Give him back to me." Wren registers the silhouette. The same shape, the same body of grief from another life. "Taken care of? You say it's so easy. My husband is gone." "Why didn't you put guards at the mall?" "Why didn't you check? If you'd done your jobs, if you'd cared, he wouldn't be gone. That butcher wouldn't have had his chance. The phones don't work. The police line is gone. What are you people doing? She sinks down into the snow. The village head crouches to help her up. Behind him, 3 or 4 other faces in the crowd carry the same grief. The 2 soldiers don't say anything. They expected this. They take it. Go on home now. There's dozens of villages strung out around here. How are they supposed to guard everyone? The village head tries to soothe them. For his dead, he hurts too. In the end, under the soldier's instruction, he puts together a list of every family who lost someone. Compensation. Extra winter gear. Snow boots. Food rations on top of the standard allotment. But for the ones who lost people, no amount of canned ration trades for a husband. Wren stands in the crowd and watches. They don't see it yet, but when the snow goes on, when the deep cold sets in for real, they'll be grateful for what's in those crates. One of the soldiers lifts a radio. We're done here. Need 7 extra winter sets. Soon another aircraft comes overhead. As it passes over Hale Hollow, a large wooden crate drops out, parachute blooming open. It settles softly into the drift. After the soldiers leave, the village head puts together a few strong young men to pry the crate open. Inside, canned meat, 2 cartons of instant ramen, fresh greens, pink sausages. At the bottom, a few jars of canned fruit. The village head's family lays it all out and runs through the village census. The pile looks like a lot, split 40 ways. It isn't. Most of these villagers farm. Each home should still have some stored grain. The military planners have already factored that in. The villagers line up outside the head's house. He arranges everything in the yard, in plain sight, cuts the rations in the open, keeps anybody from accusing him later. A full month has passed since the first snowfall. People mutter as they wait in line. Nobody knows when this snow will stop. My field froze solid, nothing left to pull. One old woman complains. We brought ours in early. Half of it still spoiled in storage. What a damn shame. Why only this much head? Who can eat on this? You know my family. 10 mouths in there. He's right, head. You know my boy. He eats more than I do. Nobody's happy with their portion. To make it fair, the village head even pours the canned fruit out into paper cups. A spoonful each. Small enough that everyone at least gets a taste. Wren's turn comes. In her cup, a little chunk of canned fruit, maybe 2 pieces, 4 sausages, 3 packs of ramen, about 2 pounds of fresh greens. The greens look greenhouse grown. Still good. Stretched thin, the haul might last her 3 or 4 days. After that you lie down. Don't move. Don't burn it. Because there's no second helping. Everyone complains. Everyone takes their share anyway. The pantry at home is shrinking. The village head tells them to stay inside. Stay warm. Especially the kids. Around 10:30 that night, Wren is cutting pork by the fireplace in the front room. Spices are laid out on the stove. Beside the rocking chair, a small charcoal grill is glowing red. She skewers the marinated meat onto an iron spit and sets it over the grill. The handful of greens from the daytime allotment she's washed and threaded onto the same skewer. Just a small meal. Just enough. A sound at the front gate. She checks the clock. Already 10. Who's out at this hour? It's Uncle Holt and his son Hayes. When she opens the door, they catch the faint scent of grilled meat in the air. She doesn't step out, just leans her head past the doorframe and looks at them, puzzled. Hayes has a basket on his back. He sets it down, pulls out 3 frozen cabbages, and holds them out. Everything in the field froze. Hayes and I went up after dark to cut whatever was left. We got too much. Take these 3. Get them inside fast. Uncle Holt glances around the dark street. Doesn't want to be seen. Not long after, Granny Hale and Helena come back, baskets on their backs, hauling in from the back slope, snow on their shoulders and heads. Every home has only a little food left now. Every neighbor knows what every other neighbor planted. They must be worried about theft. That's why they're harvesting at night. Granny said you went into town last week to look for the men. You went out, into all that. These 3 are yours. Wren didn't find them. but she went. That counts for something, and there's nothing else to give. Granny and Helena hurry past with their baskets. Uncle Holt leaves the cabbages on the step and walks back toward the slope. Wren takes them in. After her grilled dinner, the cabbages have already started to thaw, gone limp and watery. If she doesn't deal with them now, tomorrow they'll spoil. She picks up a knife and starts shredding the heads thin, dumps the shreds into a basket. Before bed, she sets the basket near the fireplace to dry. There's not much nutrition left in cabbage like this. But dried, it can go into porridge. Maybe it's the years of starvation she's already lived through. The vault holds enough food for several lifetimes. She still won't waste a single leaf. Granny next door must feel the same. All through the night, the thunk-thunk of a knife on a cutting board carries through the wall. After feeding the livestock inside the vault, Wren heads up the slope. The back hill has been picked clean of trees. Only stumps remain in the snow. The villagers are pushing farther out now, looking for firewood. She gathers what the other villagers left behind, broken branches, scraps, and pushes the cart carefully back down through the snow. This is the main trail villagers use. The snow on the path is packed flat by boots. "Oh, honey, a girl shouldn't be hauling work like that. Let me push for you. Where you headed?" The man is wearing a long black cotton coat past his knees. Greasy hair hangs in clumps over his forehead. Mid-30s, maybe. His hand drops onto the cart handle. The smile is friendly. He tries to push and the cart doesn't budge. The smile freezes on his face. Wren keeps her grip on the handle, looks at him flat. Let go. She's been training every day. She's been eating. Compared to a half-starved villager, she has the strength. A girl alone like you need a man to look after you. Just let me give you a hand. He doesn't let go. Wren lets go of the handle. She looks at him the way you look at a corpse already. A girl alone in a village like this. Of course she's been watched. The man yanks the cart toward her small courtyard. Of course he knows where she lives. He's been watching her for a while. A college girl. The idea has him buzzing. The villagers passing by just see a kind man helping the girl move firewood. Open up. Now. He glances around, makes sure they're alone, pulls a paring knife from his coat, presses it against her side. Hurry. Quit dragging your feet. The paring knife punctures her cotton jacket. She digs the key from her pocket, looks around once more, opens the gate. He pockets the knife, drops his hand to her back, shoves her through the gate, slams it shut behind them. In his head, she's still just an ordinary girl. His eyes are already hungry. He turns. His eyes lock wide. There's a wood-splitting blade at his throat. If he hadn't stepped forward by reflex, his throat would be open already. He shoots both hands up. I lost my head. I'll go. I'll leave. All right. He's stammering. You think so? She doesn't give him time to answer. The blade swings down hard, slices clean through his neck. He doesn't even get a sound out. Lost his head. Hot blood sprays across her face and neck. The snow under their feet goes dark. If she were what he thought she was, today she'd be the one on the floor. One look at his eyes told her everything. She tries to send the body into the vault. It won't go. She gets the shovel, digs a hole near the courtyard wall, by the gate, and rolls him in. The snow and the dark stain go in with him. She levels the snow back over the patch. By morning, the courtyard is white again. No sign. Around noon on the third day, his family comes looking. The woman has been asking up and down the village. Someone tells her that her husband was last seen with Wren, even helping Wren haul firewood. Knowing her husband, that's the wrong direction of suspicious. He doesn't help anyone do anything. She stands outside Wren's gate. She's been listening to gossip about who lives there. A college girl. The only one in the village who tested into a big-name school. When Wren opens the gate, the woman sees her face and snaps to the obvious answer. That's why Garrett carried her firewood. Out of my way, you slut. Is my husband in there? Garrett. Garrett Hale, you piece of trash, leaving me and the kids and out chasing tail. Where are you hiding? Come out. You can't hide from me. Even dead, I'll drag you out. The woman shoves her. Wren reacts before the push fully lands. Her right hand snaps to the back of the woman's collar and she flings her out into the road. The woman hits the ground and rolls right into theatrics. She's a homewrecker, and she's hitting me. Homewrecker attacking me. Everybody come see. Wren can't stand the shrieking. She watches the woman like she's something on a dirty plate. Neighbors are already gathering. The yelling pulls half the village over. A blizzard like this, everyone's stuck at home. A little drama is entertainment. Wren leans against the doorframe and watches the woman calmly. She already scrubbed the yard the night it happened. The snow has the road cut off, the police line is dead, no one's coming to investigate. She has nothing to fear. Garrett's wife, what is all this yelling? What homewrecker? Spit it out. Someone in the crowd asks. The woman pulls herself off the ground. She levels a finger at Wren. Look at her, everyone, I asked all over the village. Day before yesterday, someone saw Garrett come and go with her. You all know what kind of man my husband is. After meeting this little slut, he hasn't been home in 3 days. My boy's been crying for his daddy. And when I tried to come in just now, she shoved me out. Garrett's got to be in there hiding. Wren laughs. It cuts through the woman mid-rant. Everyone turns. What are you laughing at? The woman flinches at the look on Wren's face. Then she rallies. Spits her certainty back up like she just remembered her lines. Garrett's wife. You can eat what you like, but you can't say what you like. You got any proof for any of this? Granny Hale's voice comes from outside the crowd. Sharp. She raised Wren. Wren is not the kind of girl who takes another woman's husband. Some of the older heads stay cool. Some of the rest start eyeing Wren a different way. You never know what's behind a face. Proof? My pantry's been hit. Does that count? She just came back from the city. College girl. Old man and old lady Hale. Her grandparents. Long gone. Their plot's not planted. And she hasn't been into town for supplies since last week. So what's she eating on? Last week, the village head handed out rations. Garrett's share went missing. I'm telling you, Garrett took it to her. Don't think I don't know which women in this village Garrett's been with. I look the other way. She sweeps her eyes through the crowd. Wren catches it. A couple of aunties suddenly find their boots very interesting. Everyone in Hale Hollow knows Garrett. The men in the crowd, though, they look at Wren with a new kind of look. If Garrett gets to share a college girl's bed for the price of a ration pack, why couldn't they? The only one in the whole village who tested into a big-name school. The woman catches the shift in the air. Her grin comes back ugly. Oh, look at her, already pulling them in. You should be ashamed. Wren walks the 2 steps over, grabs the woman's collar, and slaps her hard across the face. Again, and again, until a tooth comes loose. The fleck of tooth blood that flies from her mouth onto the snow. Your mouth is a sewer. Smells like one too. And on what would I want with your husband? Short little man like that? You say my husband's in there. Got proof? I don't even know who you are, and you're trying to force your way through my gate. Maybe you and your husband cooked this up together. Single girl, alone in a house. Easy mark. Eyeing my pantry. You say someone saw me with him. Fine. Tell everyone here. Who told you that? Wren slaps her again. The woman has been chewing the word slut between her teeth this whole time. Wren is past patience. The village head's coming. The crowd parts. Village head Hale takes in the woman's face, swollen up the size of a pig's head. He doesn't recognize her at first. Village head, you've got to take my side. The woman cradles her face. The words come out mush. He stares for a while before it clicks. What is going on? Somebody talk. The woman tries to talk. Nobody can understand her. Granny Hale steps up and tells the whole thing. Everyone knows the Garrett household. Lazy. Hungry. If anyone's pantry runs out first, it's theirs. Garrett's wife. Stop making a scene. Go home. The village head doesn't soften it. Wren grew up under his eye. He knows what she is and isn't. The woman sees he won't help her. She tips into panic. Village head. Garrett hasn't been home in 3 days. The last person to see him was her. If you won't sort this out, at least let me search her house. A woman's gut, she calls it. Her gut says Wren knows where Garrett is. Enough. The village head's voice cracks across the yard. Fine. You want to look? Look. Wren steps aside in full view of the crowd, gestures her in. Wren Granny Hale starts. People keep their food private now. Walking through another house is not the small thing it used to be. Garrett's wife runs her mouth. If she sees anything, she'll spice it up before she's even out the door. But Wren has agreed in front of the whole village. The head can't say no now. The woman edges past Wren and into the house. Dried goods hang in a basket above the fireplace. A sack of rice sits in the corner. She checks every room. No Garrett, but her gut still says he's been here. Any pretty new wife shows up in this village, Garrett tries it on. And Wren, a college girl living alone, is too obvious for him to pass up. She turns back. Wren is standing in the courtyard, an unreadable smile on her face. The woman feels the cold drop into her gut. She doesn't look anymore. She just wants out. Wren is standing by the wall. Almost absent-mindedly, she nudges the shovel propped against the wall. Once. Then again. The woman clocks the motion, and the second she does, she scuttles for the gate like a beaten dog, tail tucked between her legs. The village head calls after her to come back and apologize. She doesn't turn around. Behind him, a number of the village men look openly disappointed. Night falls. Wren sits by the fire. The compound bow lies across the sofa. She's wiping down the bow and its arrows. Around 10, she kills the oil lamp, picks up the bow, sets it on the bed, cracks the window open just enough to see through. The cold slides in through the gap. Her eyes lock on the yard. She does not blink. A dark shape vaults the wall and drops into the courtyard. She knocks an arrow, draws back, sights the head of the dark shape. Right as it crouches and reaches for the shovel. A clean snap. The shape drops face first into the snow. No sound. Wren closes the window and steps out into the yard. She doesn't even need to look. She knows who. Garrett's wife. The one screaming in her face this afternoon. The arrow sits dead center in her forehead. Loud mouth. Soft skull. She plants a boot on the woman's head and pulls the arrow free. This afternoon, when the woman was tearing through the house, Wren made sure she saw the shovel. Wren takes the shovel from the wall, digs a second hole next to the first, drops her in. There, the two of you are together again. Done. She glances at the thermometer. 28 degrees, dropping. The cold will hold for weeks. Nothing's going to thaw, nothing's going to smell. By morning, every trace in the courtyard is buried under fresh snow. Wren takes the cart up the slope as usual. Hadley and his two friends have been out in the woods most days, practicing with their slingshots. They can hit a rabbit now. Coming home in the late afternoon, Wren finds the three of them waiting outside her gate. Wren, you're back. Hadley jumps up. The three of them are bundled in thick padded coats. You boys looking for me? She pulls off her gloves and opens the gate. The three of them hesitate, then push a small cloth bundle into her hands. Wren, this is for you. She opens it. A rabbit. Still warm. Freshly killed. You got it? She looks at the kid in front of her. In this little time, he can already take a rabbit with a slingshot. The boy has talent. Wren, if you hadn't taught me how to shoot, I'd still be plinking at trees. I brought it to say thank you. The other two are clearly hyped about Hadley's first kill. You shot it, take it home. And about teaching you, we settled that already last time. Hadley earned this one through his own work. She refuses. The three of them shuffle, embarrassed, push the rabbit back. The truth is, they're hoping she'll teach them more. She sees through it. In the end, she takes the rabbit. From then on, when she goes up the slope, three small shadows trail behind her. The Holts have already pulled the last of their field. They're staying inside for the long haul. She can hear the stone hand mill grinding cornmeal through the wall now and then. They're stretching what's left. 1 p.m. Hadley and the two friends show up at her gate on the dot. Yesterday, they spotted wild boar tracks. They're bouncing. After helping Wren gather a little firewood, they head into the woods. Wild boar will spook at the slightest sound. From here on, silent. Hand signs only. She speaks low. The three of them nod. She carries the compound bow ready, arrow already nocked. She walks point. They follow her tracks through the snow, careful. A cave mouth opens up, about 6 feet across. A pack of black boars is curled inside, sleeping deep. 7 or 8 of them. The boys can barely contain themselves. Wren frowns. Wild boar aren't just sharp-nosed. They're vicious. One charge can put you flat for weeks. 7 or 8 of them is too many. If they spook all at once, this won't end well. Up the tree. She braces against a trunk and climbs. The boys come up after her. She crouches on a thick branch and draws. The boys load their slingshots. Aim, the one on the far right. Her hand drops a signal. The arrow leaves the string with a hiss and buries deep in the boar's eye. A scream rips out of it. The rest of the pack jolts awake and bolts out of the cave. The wounded boar tries to lurch up. 3 stones smash into its right foreleg. It goes down hard. Wren watches the others scatter. She picks her window. The one with the white patch on its back? Now. 3 stones fly, but wild boar are fast. Most of the pack is already vanishing into the trees by the time the next round lands. The one with the arrow in its eye claws its way out of the cave. Head thrashing, the shaft swinging in its socket. It growls low. The one at the mouth of the cave is twitching on the ground. Wren's first shot hit a kill point. Wren, it's coming for us. Hadley watches the boar charge toward them, the arrow swinging in its socket as it runs. A nightmare image, if I had a rifle. Wren exhales. With a rifle, none of them would be running. Hold, don't come down yet. She doesn't sound rattled. The boar smashes into the trunk below them. Snow showers off the branches. It dumps straight down onto the boar. Now, Hadley's stone hits the boar's good eye. The other 2 pile on. The boar disappears under a pile of snow, blind, with nowhere left to go. When its squealing fades, Wren drops from the branch first. The boys swing down after her. They circle in around the boar. Mason, drag the one in the cave over here. The youngest of the 3 jumps up and runs. The one at the cave mouth is maybe 100 pounds. The one under the tree is heavier. The pack has been thin all winter. Nothing left to forage. These 2 are bony. She wipes her arrow clean in the snow and re-nocks. They're deep in the mountain. The villagers don't come this far for wood. She pulls her wood-splitting blade. We process them here. We can't drag them back whole. Anyone sees us, we're done. The 3 boys agree. Mason, Theo, dig a pit over there. Doesn't need to be big. It's a month and a half into the snow. Some families are running out. These boys know exactly what meat means now. Hadley grips the blade, sets his jaw, and opens the boar's belly. They've got nothing to catch the blood. It runs into the snow. Wasted. Wren doesn't step in. She lets the 3 of them do the work. Theo, the oldest, is 16. If they can't stomach this, then what's coming for them is going to break them. Besides, these boys keep showing up with snacks for her. Little gifts, saying it's tribute. Hadley and Theo hold up. Mason keeps turning off to retch. By the time they start on the second boar, he steadies out. None of them have butchered before. They hack instead of cut. Wren directs. The heavy-smelling organs go into a bag, packed in with handfuls of snow to dull the scent. 8 legs split 4 ways. 2 each. Half the side meat for each of them. Wren takes one boar's head. The boys split the other one. Their packs are full, and they still have more than they can carry. 2 stay behind to guard the rest. Wren and the 3rd go back down for her cart. They pile the cart with meat, throw snow over the meat, then cover the whole thing with deadfall and broken branches. She wheels it down the trail like nothing happened. The villagers see her with the boys. She's been with them every day, and don't think twice. It takes 4 trips to clear everything off the slope. That night, after the village has settled, around 9, the parents of the 3 boys come knocking, almost in shift. Their pantries are slim. Their kids walked in with serious meat. That kind of thing makes parents very nervous. Once they hear the story, they're not children. They understand how the world works. They cut off a slab of pork and try to push it back on Wren. Take it home, all of it. I already took my share. About what happened on the mountain. Please don't tell anyone in the village. These 3 families understand the situation now. They won't talk. We won't say a word. Get some rest, child. We won't keep you any longer. They look at each other and head out. The next allotment day comes around. The temperature drops to 5 below 0 now. No one's going up the slope anymore for wood. The village streets are mostly empty. When she opens the door, A blast of cold slams across her face. Her head spikes like needles. Wren pulls her scarf up over her nose and mouth before it gets bearable. On the road, people drift in 3s and 5s, all heading toward the village head's house. By the time she gets there, the front yard is packed. People press in tight, like nearness alone can dull the cold. Teeth chattering. In the yard, the village head's family, wife, son, daughter-in-law, 3 grandchildren, are sorting through crates. How much longer? Head, we're going to freeze solid out here. Half a day already. How are you not done? Hands rubbing together, voices loud. Almost, he grumbles. 10 minutes later, they finally get to it. People shove forward, jockeying to be first in line. The haul is smaller this round. Last time, they at least got fresh greens. Wren looks down at her cup. 2 500-milliliter bottles of water, 2 sausages, 1 pack of pickled greens instant ramen, 3 ration bars. This is it? No greens? An older woman at the front speaks first. Last time there were greens. What happened? Yeah, last time was barely enough to get by. This? This is a week's food? What is that? 1 ration bar a meal. Lord, how are we supposed to live? Worry lands on every face. Wren takes her share and walks. Month 2, and the village is still getting shipments at all. That's something. In her last life, she was at school in the heart of City A, population dense, cheapest sublet zone in the country. Forget unequal distribution. The tiny ration they put out couldn't have gone into her own stomach. Robberies? Robbing the robbers. Killing. Cannibalism. All of that became normal eventually. Wren? Wait. A voice from behind. She turns. A figure bundled head to toe is hustling toward her. It's me, Helena. The woman pulls the cloth down from her face. Helena, what's up? Wren scans the street. My dad wants to know. You want to come with us into the city tonight? Look for food? Helena keeps her voice low and her eyes moving. My family's got a battery radio. They're saying the snow could go on a long time yet, and it'll keep getting colder. 2 nights ago, Dad and my brother went into the town in the middle of the night. The supermarkets and the corner stores, all picked clean. Nothing left. Tonight, they want to push into the city. Try further out. You on your own. Your share's not going to be much. You want in? Their shoulders are nearly touching. Helena keeps it nearly under her breath. Nobody behind them catches it. How many? Wren's tone is light, like she barely cares. Dad, my brother, the village head's son and his wife, and Hadley's parents. 6 total. 7 with Wren. What time? 8:30 tonight. Meet at our place. A pair of aunties catches up behind them and Helena peels away fast. Wren, honey, where'd you get that coat? It looks warmer than anything we've got. One of the aunties zeroes in. She's clocked Wren's coat for a while now. Auntie, I just grabbed it off a street stall. It's not as good as it looks. Honestly, not as warm as what you've got on. Honey, don't play me. You think I don't know fabric when I see it? Auntie, you've been around longer than I've been alive. Your eyes sharper than mine. Look at the material. Tell me, does it really hold heat? She rolls her sleeve up. The auntie leans in, examines the fabric, then shakes her head, lip curling slightly with judgment. She's never seen the material before. Doesn't look like it could hold heat. Wren lets her face settle back. The team-up scouting expedition into the city will leave at 8:30 p.m. Chapo 7 territory. The coat on her back isn't padded cotton. It's a high-end thermal shell. Windproof, cold-rated, deceptively thin compared to the village's bulky cotton. Back home, Wren transfers the day's ration into the vault and checks on what she's growing inside. The rice has gone fully gold, days from harvest. The other vegetables are ready, big, fresh, far healthier than anything out there. With the black field, she'll never have to worry about food again. She breaks new ground next to the vegetable rows and plants fruit seeds. Apple, pear, strawberry, blueberry. Then she pulls a few heads of cabbage and tosses them into the pig trough. The piglets are plump and pink. She watches them feed, satisfied. Eat up, braised, steamed. Suckling pig on a spit. The chicks and ducks she bought from the farmer's market are filling out. Yellow down is shedding. She tosses fresh corn to them. Husks and stalks get chopped for the goats and cattle. Nothing wasted. By the time she's done, it's evening. She gear up. The compound bow goes across her back, half her own height, a draw weight over 10 pounds. Set it tighter, and it can punch through a fire extinguisher tank. Carrying it makes her breathe easier. Into her pack go a few ration bars, 2 water bottles, instant ramen, canned meat, and a small alcohol stove. She runs her eye over what's left in the house. The lit stove goes into the vault. The sack of rice in the corner, also in. The house is empty. Nothing left to find. 8:30. She walks next door. The nighttime cold is sharper than the day. Wren, come on in. Uncle Holt spots her thin silhouette in the snow immediately. I'll stay out here. She waits at the gate. A moment later, Holt and Hayes come out, big mountaineering packs on their backs. Aunt Tessa and Granny Hale see them off. Helena follows behind, holding one of her kids on her hip. Holt, you and Hayes, be careful out there. If you don't find food, it's fine. Safe is what matters. Come home fast. Aunt Tessa's voice is tight. The town run is still fresh. Honey, if anything goes wrong, you run. Promise me. She presses her hand into his sleeve. It's freezing. Get back inside. We won't be long. Holt steers them gently toward the door. Grandpa, up. The kid on Helena's hip reaches. Dad, please be careful. Once they're past the gate, the 2 men spot Wren standing under the streetlight. They couldn't see her clearly before. Now they catch the shape on her back. Wren, what's that toy you've got? Holt squints. He's never seen a compound bow in his life. The cams on either limb give it a hard mechanical look. Dad, don't. It's a compound bow. Hayes is staring at her. He didn't expect Wren to know what this was, much less own one. And the one across her back looks like the kind he's seen in overseas hunting videos. He used to watch them. A foreigner with a compound bow. 1 arrow through the head of a sable antelope. Dead before it hit the ground. He just doesn't know if Wren's bow draws like that. At the village edge, the village head's son and his wife are already waiting. Hadley's parents haven't arrived yet. How long have you been standing here? Holt eyes the snow piled on their shoulders. Long enough. 5 more minutes and the wife and I were heading home. The man's teeth chatter. They start stamping circulation back into their legs. 5 minutes later, Hadley's parents finally come up, except it isn't Hadley's mother walking with his father. At the last moment, they swapped her out for Hadley. Wren, you're coming? Hadley lights up. He didn't expect her here. Originally, his mom and dad were going, but his dad pivoted at the last second. Told his mother to stay, called Hadley to grab the pack and move. Boy, voice down. His dad clips him across the back of the neck and looks around. Move out. Holt takes point. The group pushes off slow through the snow. The wind has dropped. The flakes fall gentle. Hadley walks beside Wren. The second they clear the village line, he starts talking and doesn't stop. His voice carries the group. No one minds. Still, walking in the snow is slow. They stop and start. They pass people from other villages on the road. Everyone's wrapped to the eyes. Even neighbors wouldn't know each other. When they reach the edge of town, they angle around it without speaking, the fastest line to the city. If they push, they can be there before dawn. 6 in the morning, they hit the city outskirts. Another half hour gets them inside. But if the town was that bad, the city will be worse. They agree. Rest first. Recover. Move at midday. If they hit trouble exhausted, none of them will run their way out. They find a hotel. Sweep the lobby. Empty. To be safe, they take the stairs to the 6th floor. No key cards. The village head's son kicks a door in. They agree to regroup at 3. Then they lock down and sleep. The room has a king bed, an electric kettle, 2 nightstands, clean, sparse. Wren sets an alarm, sleeps until noon. When she wakes, the doors on either side of hers are still shut. She slips out quiet. She didn't come to the city for food. She came for medicine. After her rebirth, something clicked into place. The government must have known about the weather long before the public did. When she was stockpiling, the merchants kept mentioning state controls, tightening across every sector, especially medicine. She managed to grab everything else. Medicine, she barely got. Money couldn't buy it. She steps off the curb. The snow swallows half her shin. Tall buildings rise out of the storm. Everything else is buried. A sound from an alley to her right. She turns. A boy about Hadley's height is digging through a trash bin. He's wearing a padded coat that doesn't fit him. Beneath the hem, his ankles are blue with cold. His hair is greasy, hanging in clumps. He clocks her watching him, freezes for a beat, sniffs, then goes back to digging. Several bins along the street are tipped. His work. Trash flutters across the snow in the wind. The two-story row houses lining the street are sealed. No life behind any of those doors. The boy finds something. He clamps it to his chest and bolts past her. Hey, wait. She closes 3 strides and catches him. His shoes don't fit. Easy. She grabs the back of his collar. He spins and tries to bite her wrist. Her left hand catches his open mouth. Let go. He swings a kick at her leg. One question. I don't want what you've got. She releases his collar. Her right hand goes into her pocket like she's fishing for something. A ration bar comes out instead. He stops fighting. Grabs it. Ask, which way to the main streets? I need directions. She checks the time. 12:30, 2 hours. Straight ahead. There's a river. Cross the overpass. That's the main strip. Thanks. She turns to go. He calls after her. If you're going that way, don't. Hey, it's bad out there. She doesn't turn around. Her answer is another ration bar dropped over her shoulder. He scrambles for it and disappears into the alley. Weird lady. Under the overpass, the river is frozen solid, dusted with snow. 8 lanes of bridge above her, every lane parked tail to nose with abandoned cars. The traffic cameras are dead. To be safe, Wren checks her reflection in a side mirror. Bundled head to toe, even she wouldn't recognize herself. She pulls a hand pump, pops the gas cap on the first car. Drains it? Half an hour on the bridge. She drains every tank she can reach. Even if she finds nothing else today, this run won't be wasted. Coming off the bridge, she sees 2 enormous tactical shelters built up against the underpass like nests. 2 men in long black overcoats step out toward her, cigarettes hanging off their lips, smiling. Looks like a girl. She isn't watching them. Her eyes lock on a pharmacy across the way. Everyone's hunting food right now. Nobody's prioritizing medicine. The pharmacy's front glass is shattered, but the shelves behind it are still half-stocked. Her eyes flash. Sweetheart, want to play? One of them flicks his cigarette into the snow. It hisses. Oh, designer. The other one's eyes catch on her shell jacket. What do you mean, designer? His friend frowns. Just the coat. Goes for over 5,000. Thermal shell? Heard of it? He steps closer. Confident. It's a girl. Both of them ease off their guard. How many women in this whole city can fight back? Every woman they've cornered has folded. The second one reaches out to peel the coat off her shoulder. A choked grunt. Wren reads the opening and drives her fist into the side of his throat. The body has a handful of kill spots. She picks one. He drops to his knees, clutching his neck, unable to make a sound. The first one finally gets it and runs. Come quick. He doesn't finish. Wren puts an arrow through the back of his skull. He makes it 10 feet and goes face first into the snow. She looks around, drags the body back, pulls the arrow free. Then she rolls both off the bridge edge. Snow puffs up. Within seconds, they're buried. She moves toward the pharmacy. The collapse just started. Some of these city residents are desperate, but the old order hasn't fully cracked. They aren't bold yet. She slips inside. First, she kills the security cameras. Then she sweeps the shelves into the vault. No traces. There's a stockroom in the back, cardboard cases, more medicine. She takes part of it. 5 minutes down the road, another pharmacy. The front glass is busted in. Pills scattered on the floor. Whoever came through clearly tore the place apart, looking for specific drugs. She slips through the gap and clears another stash. Most storefronts are gutted. A bakery. A baby supply store. The baby supply still has a few $100s worth of stock untouched on the lower shelves. Whoever raided here left it. She looks down at a dozen cans of cheap formula on the bottom shelf and sweeps them in. A glass of milk now and then is decent nutrition. The baby supply store also has high-end infant skincare. Small jar, hundreds of dollars. She takes all of it. Save for later. She didn't stockpile cosmetics. She's pulling baby wipes and tissues when crack, crack, crack. Gunshots. She moves, slips out the door and runs toward the sound. 3 more shots. From across street ahead, 2 men come sprinting around the corner, looking back over their shoulders. Behind them, 4 wolves. Heavy-bodied, snarling. Closing. The instant she sees the wolves, she pivots and ducks into a boba shop. Behind her, another shot. Then a man screaming. Then the sound of wolves doing what wolves do. Don't kill me. Don't. The man begs. She crouches behind the counter. An industrial ice maker stands against the back wall. She lays a hand on it and sweeps it into the vault. The stockroom behind it goes in too. One of the wolves trots up to the shop door. Then 4 men in police uniforms come around the corner. What are you doing here? The lead man barks. Wren clocks the sidearm on his hip. Local precinct by the look of it. Officer, there's no food left in the township. I came to see if I could find any. She fakes the tremor, lets her body shake. Which village? Aren't supplies being airdropped to you? What are you doing this far out? ID. She hands it over. He studies it. Mask down. She lowers it. He matches her face and passes it back. Don't go further in. Stick to this side. Got it? She nods. Once they confirm she's not a threat, they move on. Some of the shops along the street are buried. Entire shopping center entrances gone under the drift. She spots a restaurant sign and steps inside. Empty. 2 big chest freezers standing open. Nothing else. The tables and chairs are wood, probably hauled off and split for firewood. She palms both freezers into the vault. Then walks back to the kitchen. The floor creaks. She looks down. Grains of rice scattered everywhere. Boot prints in the spill. Rotting vegetables. Someone already worked this place. She moves to the fridge, tears the cardboard cases open. Inside, unopened spices, salt, bouillon, Sichuan pepper, soy sauce, vinegar, useless on their own. Whoever swept the place took the rice and the cooked food and left the seasoning. She sweeps it anyway. Moves on. Restaurants are easy to find. Most of the front glass is smashed. Steel shutters pried out. The noodle shop next door is wrecked. Dried noodles trampled on the floor. A long, dark stain across the counter. She pushes through a hanging curtain into the back kitchen. Machinery. Nothing else. There's flour residue on the noodle extruder. She takes the extruder. She knows how to knead dough. She doesn't know how to pull noodles by hand. Vending machines along the street. Busted. Empty. A 2-meter signboard at the curb. She knocks the snow off the top. Lamb noodle soup. The roller shutters bent half open. She ducks inside. A cleaver still sits on the cutting board. Bowls of garlic, ginger, green onion, rotted out. Someone already came through. She checks the cabinets under the wood stove. The only thing worth grabbing is the lighter. Better a small win than nothing. She checks the time. Almost 3. She heads back. The others are awake. Wren? Where'd you go? Hadley is leaning against the doorframe. The room behind him smells like cooking. Just a walk. Back in her own room, she breaks out the alcohol stove. Boils water. Drops in 2 packs of ramen. Adds an egg and smoked sausage. Lunch. After eating, they gather in the hall. Holt and Hayes come back from scouting. Hayes and I ran the route. There's the True Love Ferris wheel just south of here. Kestrel's city landmark, you all know it. We went down and looked. There's nothing left in the city. Might be worse than the town. So what? We still go in? The village head's son asks. Nothing else we can do. We came this far. There's no food by the Ferris wheel. But a city this size, there's got to be something somewhere. In the end, they decide to push in tomorrow. One more night at the hotel. The village head's son and his wife. The energy's gone. They left home full of fire. Now they're quiet. Dad, why am I the one hauling everything? I'm dying. Hadley is quieter today. His dad piled the family's pack on him. The kid is shot. Wren watches from the back of the line. Hadley's dad already knows what's coming. He's drilling the boy now, while there's still time. The group moves fast. The drifts force them around, but they're inside the city in just over an hour. Kestrel City, the city Wren lived in through high school. tested into a name-brand high school, and never looked up from her books. Never saw the place. At a tollgate booth, she finds a city tourist map. Open it under the lamp. It marks the fun stuff, not what she wants. But she remembers a college roommate once raved about it. Kestrel sits on the coast. There's a famous tourism program, deep-sea diving, day in the life of a fisherman. She finds the spot on the map. Far. But there's something else. Kestrel has an indoor ski simulator. She went with a roommate once. There were snowmobiles inside. A small smile crosses her face. Where's everyone planning to hit? Maybe we should stick together. If something goes wrong, we can back each other up. Yeah, no issue here. Together's better. I'm with that. Nobody knows what this city's like. While the others are working out a plan, Wren folds the map. Uncle Holt, I'm splitting off. I've got a friend who's local to Kestrel. I want to check on her. He freezes, then stands. Wren, come with us. Stay with your uncle. That's kind of you. But if I get into trouble alone, if anything happens to me, that's on you. I can't do that. Wren, listen. A girl alone out there is more dangerous. Stay with us. We watch each other. The village head's daughter-in-law presses too. Only Hadley's dad stays quiet. Because young as this girl looks, she put a bore down. Uncle Holt, I'll be careful. She helped me out once. I need to see her. Wren lies clean. When they see she means it, they stop arguing. Fine, we set a time. 3 a.m. Back at the hotel. Whoever's there, we go. Got it. You all be careful. Wren is gone in minutes. Her silhouette disappears into the drift. Still just a kid. The village head's son sighs long. Wren's amazing. Hadley fires back and gets clipped on the back of the head by his dad. He shuts up. Amazing. Sure. Go ask Hayes what they went through in town. The man shakes his head. The three of them push deeper into the city. The snow has buried every landmark. It takes Wren real effort to find the ski simulator. Front glass smashed. She scans the street. The dagger up her sleeve is one flick from her palm. Full dark now. Inside the simulator are several themed slopes. The gear's the real stuff, because tourists wanted authenticity. She palms a few snowboards and the rest of the rental kit. The snowmobile pen is empty. Of course, everyone's mind worked the same way. But she keeps looking and finds two tucked in a back garage. No fuel. That's why they got left. She has fuel in the vault. She tops them off. Out in the open simulator field, she pulls on goggles and steers south toward the diving harbor. 8 p.m. A snowmobile is a different speed entirely. The harbor takes just over an hour. On foot, it would have been most of the night. Ice has formed on the lens of her goggles from the cold. The night is black. The snow is heavy. She follows the beach line. The tourist yachts are out by the docks. Renters take them out on the water. Inside, they're clean and pricier than she expected. All of it buried in fresh drift. She stows the snowmobile. Steps onto the ice. Crack. The ice isn't thick yet. Different sizes of yacht. She's traveling alone. She takes 4. One of them an open top. She had 2 inflatable rafts before, when she had no money. Free still beats paid. Then 4 motorboats. She stops there. Decides to test her luck. The seafood market and warehouses nearby. But they've all been hit. Even the ice has been chopped through. She'd done well already tonight. She mounts the snowmobile and heads straight for the city core. In a city center, there's a pharmacy every 50 meters and a clinic every kilometer. People in their apartments hear her snowmobile pass, but by the time they're at the window, she's gone. Before she even reaches the core, she sees that the streets aren't empty. Even at night, there are people out, weapons in their hands. She stops the snowmobile inside an underpass. Footsteps gather behind her. They saw the snowmobile in her possession. They were planning to take it. She palms the snowmobile and runs. The men come around the corner into the empty underpass. Where'd she go? She came this way. Maybe she's got backup waiting. Look at the ground. No tracks. They look. The snowmobile tracks end where she stopped. Gone. Son of a, let's go. Some people are out, but they move in groups. Solo travelers are rare, and the few are either all muscle or visibly the kind nobody wants to mess with. The storefronts on either side of the street are mostly stripped. The cheap glass facades, apparently the trend now, crumple after a few hits. Shards crunch under her boots. The clothing stores are picked over. Even the short-sleeve shirts are gone. Wood furniture, all gone. A small woman bolts out of a shop ahead of her, clutching something to her chest. Don't. This is mine. I found it. Let go. Someone shoves her from behind. She hits the snow, holds tight. She gets to her knees, runs 3 more steps. From across the street, more figures sprint in. Like they've lost their minds, they pry her wrists open and take what's in her hands. It's a bag of dried noodles. The thing isn't over. The noise pulls more people in. The second they see the noodles, they go feral too. Wren presses against the wall. Stays out of it. The woman lies in the snow, screaming after them. I hope you all die screaming. I hope you don't get a clean death. The men ignore her. The cold seeping up through the snow snaps her back. She braces against the wall and limps off. Wren watches it happen. The temperature is 18 below now. Give it a few more weeks. These people will get crazier. There's no food anywhere in the core. Even the pharmacies are gutted. Piles of white pills scattered across the floor. Bottles flung down. Whoever ran through there couldn't carry it all and trashed the rest out of spite. There's a flagship auto dealership in the city center, Kestrel's biggest. She remembers it's nearby. She ducks under an underpass, opens the map under a flashlight. She finds the place. Auto showrooms aren't being hit. No food in them. Inside the lot, she walks 4 RVs into the vault. Then 2 off-road dirt bikes. Done. She heads out the way she came. A few figures trail her. She doesn't react. Once she hits a quiet alley, she pulls the snowmobile out and tears off. Behind her, the men curse. They should have moved earlier. The snowmobile could have been theirs. Outside the core, there are fewer people, but everyone moves in pairs or more. They're hauling scrap wood for fuel. She has medicine. She isn't going to let herself get sick. She skips the pharmacies and tries the restaurants again. Eventually, she finds a sack of dried rice noodles. Soaked, that's a week of meals. A bonus 12:23 a.m. She points the snowmobile at the hotel and runs it flat out. She arrives at 2, an hour early. The rooms next to hers are still empty. Holt's group is still out there. She turns in, 30-floor hotel, and she's the only soul inside it. She listens to the wind howl. She isn't scared. This is what calm feels like. What's scarier than people? Half asleep, she catches an engine sound from the street. Her eyes snap open. She slides off the bed to the window. Lifts the curtain. The blizzard's too thick to see clearly. She picks up the compound bow off the pillow and moves downstairs in a quiet jog. The engine sound. That's a snowmobile. She ducks behind a tall planter vase in the corner of the lobby. The vase covers her whole frame. A figure bursts through the front doors. Hadley. Hadley is carrying his father on his back. 2 stuffed packs across his front. They found supplies in the city. A teenager carrying a grown man. His steps stagger. Wren stays in the shadow. He doesn't see her. He runs for the stairs, looking back over his shoulder like something is chasing him. Then he's gone, up to the 2nd floor. Hayes and Uncle Holt push through next. Hayes is fine. Holt is past his limit, chest heaving, exhausted. Both of them run for the stairs. After them, the village head's son and his wife. Outside the hotel, that snowmobile is still running on the street. Once the son and his wife clear the doors, Wren slips upstairs to the 2nd floor. She looks down through the window. 2 snowmobiles. About 6 men, plus more dark shapes in the underpass. She can't tell if same crew. She watches until they pull off. Then she climbs 6th floor hallway. Holt's group is on the floor against the wall. The corridor is pitch black. No one dares light a lamp. Oh. They lean on the wall, breathing thin. Footsteps come up the stairwell. Every one of them tenses. Hadley loads a stone into his slingshot. draws the band tight, body coiled. It's me. Wren announces herself just in time. Relief, then worry returns. You okay? Anyone see you come up? Holt asks low. No, I waited until they left. Who were they? Wren plays it dumb. Robbers. We found supplies. On the way out of the city, they tracked us. Wanted the lot. The village head's son has cuts on his face. Took a beating. Hadley's father is leaning against the hallway wall. Skin gray. There's a pool of dark stain under his thigh. The bed sheet wrapped around his leg is fully soaked through. Dad. Dad, how is it? Hadley's face is wrecked. The others crowd close. Maybe we move now. Push through the night. Floyd took the wound, buying us time to run. We have to move. Hospitals around here are empty shells. We need to get him to the village clinic, fast. Holt and the village head's son agree. They leave now. I'm fine. Cough? Those men are still out there waiting for us. I can hold on till morning. Floyd's voice cracks. His face says otherwise. He's saying it for them. Hadley is crying silently, both hands clamped down on his father's leg, trying to slow the bleeding. Wren thinks about the police officers she ran into earlier. They could handle 1 or 2 thugs. A whole gang? The order is collapsing piece by piece. She crouches next to Hadley and inspects the leg. Hadley must have just changed the sheet. The wound runs long down the thigh. Still bleeding. The flesh is open at the edges. She can see the vessel pulsing. He's bleeding heavy and he's freezing. Body temperature is dropping fast. He might not make it through the night. What if we head home now? The village clinic has 4 doctors. The village head's son looks at Holt. The 2 of them move in. Holt crouches. The village head's son ducks down to lift Floyd. Move. Floyd took the hit so they could run. They can't watch him die in this hallway. If they can get him home, the clinic has 4 doctors. They can save him. Hadley's face is broken. He can feel his father shaking. His father's hands are ice. Dad, hold on. Mom's home. Grandma, your daughter. They're waiting. Hadley keeps talking to him. The village head's wife brings a blanket from a hotel room. Hadley grabs it, drapes it over his dad. The whole group is fumbling. Wren follows them out. Going through the lobby, she catches movement in the underpass to her right. Stepping into the street, she instinctively glances the other direction. 2 small red lights pulse on the far side. Cigarette tips. Someone's there. Her left hand comes up with the compound bow. Her right pulls an arrow. Hayes and the others don't see it. They think the robbers from before are gone. They're standing in the open, debating which route gets them home fastest. They don't see the trap closing. 4 flashlight beams sweep up from the right side of the underpass. Everyone's hands fly up to shield their eyes. Shaw called it. Knew you'd still be hiding nearby. The man behind the flashlight steps in. He shines it directly into Hayes' eyes. Run. Thought you were good at running. Should have handed over the supplies the first time? 4 men. Each one is holding a long melon cleaver. One of the blades is dark with blood already. The village head's wife buckles. She drops in the snow. A farm wife her whole life. She's never seen anything like this. What is this? This is illegal. Her eyes are blown wide. She doesn't recognize anyone in this scene anymore. The whole world looks foreign. Ha ha ha. Illegal. The 4 of them laugh like she told a joke. Hadley's body shakes. Behind whatever teen swagger he had, he's 15. The cleavers gleam in the flashlight. Nobody isn't terrified. Take it. Take all of it. Just let us go. The village head son shrugs his pack off. It doesn't move them. Should have done that the first time. Now you pay double if you want to walk. Ha ha ha. Hayes. When this starts, I'll take the one on the left. Don't look back. Run. Holt's voice is low and final. Floyd braces himself on his bad leg. Set me down. I take the one on the right. Hadley. Son, come here. Hadley's face is already running with tears. He stumbles over to his father. Dad, there has to be. I don't want you to. Hadley looks up at the falling snow. The world wasn't supposed to be this. A roar of engines. 2 snowmobiles tear up from the distance. The same crew that hit them before. Floyd and Holt, ready to spend their lives to buy the others a head start. Go gray. Hopeless. Last time they scattered into buildings and slipped the same gang. Now they're boxed in the middle of the road. No exits. Wren stands beside the village head's wife. The woman is sobbing in her ear. At this range, she can take the two on her left in 10 seconds. The two ahead are about 10 paces out. After dropping the close pair, she can put the compound bow on the right side man. She runs the math. Decides. Moves. What are you eyeballing, huh? You want to die? The thug with the bloody cleaver steps up. The blade rests against the village head's son's throat. Big bro, whatever you say. My eyes were born like this. A sharp ammonia smell hits the air. The village head's son has just wet himself. The thug with the cleaver has killed before. The way he moves. Confident, ugly, loose. Ha! This one pissed himself. Ha ha ha! The snowmobiles are nearly on them. Right now, the thug in front of the village head's son is the closest target. Wren snaps her right foot into his gut. He doesn't see it coming. The impact folds him. He retches. She flicks the dagger out of her sleeve. She opens his throat. 5 seconds. He drops. Right side, go, Wren shouts. The other three react late. She already planned for that. She kicks the bloody cleaver up off the ground. It spins. She catches it midair and swings on the next man. He has no fighting form. The cleaver in his hand thrashes around without structure. When he sees Wren's swing, he panics and steps back. She doesn't let him. The distance is too short. The dagger leaves her hand and goes through his sword arm. His cleaver hits the snow. No time for him. She doesn't bother. She turns and draws the compound bow. The man in front of Holt is mid-swing, cleaver already coming down. The bow hits full draw. The arrow leaves the string and goes straight through the man's chest. In that breath, Hayes and the others bolt for the alley on the right. Under 20 seconds, 2 dead, 1 bleeding out. The last man stares at her. The way these people looked unable to fight, and they had that in their group. Even his own crew has blood on them. None of them move the way she just moved. He turns and runs for the approaching snowmobiles. Wets himself going. Wren walks forward, pulls the arrow from the chest of the dead man, and renocks. Hiss! The runner pitches face down into the snow. She exhales, turns and runs for the alley. Hayes and the others haven't gone anywhere. They're tucked just inside, watching her run up. Their faces are complicated. Move. That's all she says. She turns and pushes into the alley. She stops short. She heard it. Gunshots. Wren, why aren't we moving? Hadley's face is a question. Then the others hear it too. We're going to die. I don't want to die yet. The village head's daughter-in-law has wet herself in the panic. The cold is pulling the heat out of all of them fast. Wren, what do we do? Hayes asks her directly. After what they just watched her do, she's their anchor. She doesn't answer. She unzips the back pouch of her pack. Inside, close to 100 arrows. There's no question. Those people aren't police, but they have guns. Anyone not police with a gun, she'll take from. Guns are the one thing she still doesn't have enough of. Go on without me. Don't wait. She eyes the wall in front of her, slings the bow on her back, sets both hands on the wall, and vaults. On the rooftop, she has range. She crouches into the deep snowdrift, moves in a low crawl toward the left awning. The 4 corners of the awning are piled 3 feet deep with drift. Plenty of cover. The others stare after her. They've never seen anyone move like that. The gunshots are getting closer. Move. Hayes glances after where Wren went. He leads the rest into the dark of the alley.